Good morning. Happy Monday morning to each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to Kingdom Holistic Health Ministry. And I am back with you guys, and I do have these anointed doctors with me on today. And I also got a studio audience. I got an audience in my office that's here with me, and they got questions, and I got questions, and I'm excited and a little jealous, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm a little jealous, because while I'm shoveling snow, one of these doctors was enjoying the beautiful weather of Hawaii, y'all, and he left me, y'all. He left me, and I cried, and I don't know what to do. But I know he's gonna make it up for me. He's gonna be good, y'all. And I tell y'all, let's bring these doctors on. Dr. J and Dr. Charisse, we thank God for both of y'all today.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good
Hey,
morning, everybody.
did I sound a little jealous?
Aloha.
A lot of jealous.
Yes, I got tan. I love it.
I know, right? I'm very jealous right now because we got all this snow, and now it's 0 degrees, the highest, the low a -9.
Cool. Yeah, that's chilly.
Can't do that.
Yes. So I have a studio audience in here, and right off a bat for you guys.
All right.
And the question was, how? What was it? She said she had an allergy. She never had it before. Now she has an allergy to dogs, and she want a dog. So she's trying to figure out, how did she end up with an allergy to dogs?
That's a great question. Well, knowing that the body is made from infinite wisdom and intelligence, I guess we would have to probe into her history a little bit and see how she's dealt with previous health issues. What is her gut health like? I shouldn't assume it's a her.
It's a her.
It's a her. Okay. And yeah, what type of health practices has this individual embraced over time?
Okay.
What type of care is it? All dogs or certain dogs, or
Mostly all dogs.
well, we've got so many chemicals and toxins in our environment today. We started talking about that last week a little bit more in depth. Toxins, and actually, I was reading the other day that the most toxic is in our skincare. So you get to look at those types of things. We've got endocrine disruptors that are making their way into our laundry. We have, if depending on how you've dealt with things like the COVID, and other types of practices, your gut could be totally needing attention. And, it would definitely behoove you to take a closer look at perhaps getting a scan. Number one, the scan would tell us a great deal about your history and what might be at the core root of all of this.
I was just finna say, I smell a AO scan coming up.
There's an AO scan for every single human being, even animals. We can scan animals as well. So
Wow.
there's a lot to this piece of technology that I'm continuously learning more and more about every day.
Okay.
What about you, Dr. J? You want to add?
Yeah, I mean, can you suddenly become allergic to anything? Yes.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. At any time in life, people can be surprised to discover they developed an allergy to something, some new substance, right? So this particular animal was probably brought into their life, and they may not have had prior allergies to a dog. But these adult onset things that happen, why does it happen? Like Dr. Houston just said, it's complex. There's more than one answer. Okay, so a scan gives us the ability to look deeply into the person's immune system and what's happening with their environment. Just like you can be suddenly allergic to a food that you've been eating all your life. My wife just, for no reason, born and raised in Florida, ate shellfish all her life, and then about 10 years ago suddenly developed an allergy to shellfish for no reason.
Oh boy.
That happened, and no one has a clear answer. But we do know that the more scans we do, the more we pick up things in our bodies, particular bacteria. Dr. Houston was just talking about the microbiome. So yeah, those things definitely change. Our microbiome changes every day. Bacteria within us change every day, and therefore what we eat, what we come in contact with, can produce an allergy symptom. A dog, can be scaling off dander from the skin, just like a cat, and it depends on where you're at, but your immune system is being challenged, and it has been challenged in the past 5 years, in case anybody hasn't, been sleeping under a rock. Stress, what's going on with the immune systems, everything has changed. The environment has changed. 5G, we talk about that a lot on this show. There's a lot of different things that have changed, so you can't just say, oh, well, it's this one thing.
Right.
So to concur, it's always a long drawn out answer to everything, because people are looking for a simple answer, and there isn't one when it comes to allergies. It's just your body reacting to something that's brand new and considers it a threat. You will adapt with time, but there could be the possibility that you may stay allergic to that particular breed for some reason. Sorry, I don't know that. Otherwise, if you want help, either one of us can do a scan and find out what's going on with the immune system, the allergic response, what's going on with the gut, what's going on with your environment, and try to improve that. And I've had a lot of people, including myself, that no longer have allergies. At one time, I was allergic to 270 out of 300 foods. I had eczema over 90% of my body. I was a mess. I lived on antibiotics, decongestants, antihistamines. Long story short, here I am, and I don't have those today. So I corrected my underlying allergies that I was born with. So can allergies be changed? Yeah. Can they suddenly appear? Yeah. So if you need help with that, reach out.
Yes. I just want to say that eating cantaloupe, got my scan, it was like, stay away from cantaloupe.
Eat too much of it.
He's frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen. He's frozen.
There you are. In the tundra. You're frozen in the tundra. So what do you make of it, though, Doc? Because really, we've got more allergies today than we've ever had before in history. I mean, when we were kids, peanut allergies weren't a thing.
Right.
They weren't.
Well, let me put it this way. People think they have wheat allergy, right? Everybody says, oh, I'm allergic to wheat. No, you're not. You're allergic to glyphosate, which is the pesticide that is incorporated into wheat. I know that because I've had many, I don't call them patients, I call them customers. I'm not here to practice medicine on you. Talking to all these different people, and myself included, that have had gluten allergies, gluten sensitivities, celiac, wheat problems. Interesting that they can travel overseas, eat that particular wheat, and not have any particular reaction, but they come back to the United States, eat any type of wheat, and they're severely ill. So if you tell me it's just wheat, that's not true. So you have to look into the deeperness of it. To say, well, is it just a wheat allergy? No, it's what they're putting in the wheat. That's the problem. So, it's not always what we know, it's what we don't know. So when we say, how can these allergies occur later in life? A lot of times it's the stuff that's hidden in our food. It's hidden in our environment. You've been lied to so many times in the past, 20 years, in my opinion, that you can't trust anybody. So you need help understanding yourself And that's what we do on this show. We talk about, the advantages of things like chiropractic, reflexology, herbology, nutrition, holistic health, prayer, faith. That's what this is about optimum health. So instead of focusing on why an allergy happens, I want to focus on the individual. And that's what we need you to do, is to reach out to us, let us run a scan and give you information you never had before. If you start changing things in your life, you start changing your environment, your body will respond as well. And so I've had people that are no longer allergic to wheat, no longer allergic to a dog or a cat. It's all about your immune system and what it's doing. And if it's being attacked by 25 different things coming at it that you don't even know about, well, then you're not going to win that war. So,
right. And it's not cookie cutter, to your point. It's individual.
Correct.
Very individualized.
Very individual. Everybody is unique. We're all snowflakes, right? I didn't say you're a flake. I said you're a snowflake, which makes you unique.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about God. He created us all in his image, but at the same time, we are all unique. We all have gifts. We all have ideas. We all bring something to the table.
Right.
So none of us are exactly the same. We're not cookie cutters. And medicine is not cookie cutter medicine. If they treat you that way, they're treating you wrong. So what happened to David? He's still out there?
You don't see me?
There you are. You keep freezing.
You keep freezing on me.
I don't know what's going on.
Put up long underwear or something.
My internet says it's 100, but on the show it's saying it's below. I don't know why that is. But
Cold.
Where?
Yes.
Don't know.
Do you have any more questions in the audience?
Talking about we are all snowflakes.
That's right.
Yeah. You got a question, medical, sir? Snoring. Oh, snoring? He want to know about snoring.
What specifically is the question?
What's the question on snoring? How do you get rid of snoring?
There's lots of things. I'll let CHARISSE start. How would you tackle that from a chiropractic perspective?
Well, every time that you get a chiropractic adjustment or someone evaluates your spinal column, it's in fact to get a hold of your nervous system, and everything is connected in the body, and it's under the direct supervision of the brain primarily. And so the central nervous system lives in that framework. So various areas of the nervous system will connect you with your ability to breathe properly, as well as making sure your lungs are functioning properly. Every time you get an adjustment and we clear out the interference, we are rebalancing your brain. So if there's anything neurological causing that, it would be cleared out at that time. And everyone is different. So doing, again, a thorough history with somebody and trying to see, is there a mechanical obstruction? So many times people have told me that, they've had to have their tonsils out or their adenoids because it made them snore or things of that nature. But I would ask people, do you know what the function is of what your tonsils do? They're a part of immune function. So if the tonsils are constantly expanding or the adenoids or what have you, it means that your immune system is being challenged. That too is under the control of the nervous system. So from a chiropractic standpoint, I don't treat any conditions, but I clear out and I rebalance the nervous system when I lay hands on someone for the purpose of getting their body to perform at its optimum. And then we break down the different pillars from there as to what could be causing it, whether it's environmental or whatnot. Mm-hmm. What is your diet like? Things of that nature. How are you breathing? A lot of people don't breathe properly. They don't do diaphragmatic breathing. They breathe from their chest, and it's very shallow. And And if you have sinus conditions, if you have sinus issues, typically there's interference in the neck region. Clearing that out will most oftentimes, plus augmenting someone's diet. Again, here comes the scanner to find out what specifically is perhaps the underlying factor here. But there's many things. Dairy will create more mucus. Sugar will create inflammation. Those are all causes of misalignment in the spinal column. So we address it from both angles. I address it from a mechanical standpoint by removing the interference to the nervous system, and then we address it from a where are the imbalances aspect.
Okay.
You know, the answer is not a $5,000 CPAP machine that you strap to your face and dry yourself out and have a horrible time sleeping and keep your partner awake. But that's the answer you're going to get from the medical community. You got to get a sleep study, and they're going to strap something to your face, or they're going to do a surgical implant. They don't talk to you about all the things that Dr. Houston just mentioned. Always, always do these things that we talk about on this show before you go spending thousands of dollars. Surgery should always be your last option, no matter what. It's never your first. You know, just keep that in mind. Surgery is your last option, not your first. Okay. So that being said, simple things, lose weight. Okay. Every person that I've ever coached on snoring that has lost weight improved their snoring, period, end of story. You're going to get fat around your throat. It's going to choke you off. You also have, like Dr. Houston mentioned, allergies. You can have allergies and have things that produce a lot of mucus like sugar and dairy. So you've got to change your diet. Otherwise, what happens is the uvula, which is a punching bag in the back of your throat, swells from inflammation, from histamine response. And so a lot of people eat wrong foods and then try to go to sleep, and they wonder why they're choking to death. Another thing is CoQ10. Many of us are very, very deficient in the enzyme and the antioxidant known as CoQ10, and that's what energizes the heart. So when we rest and the heart's weak, you're gonna gasp for air. Bitter orange is an herb I use to help shrink the uvula at the back of the throat, so that snoring does improve. Sleeping on your side, also a pillow. A pillow should be changed every 3 months. If you're sleeping on a pillow older than 3 months, you're going to snore. It's all broken down. Time for a new one. Not rocket science. So there's lots and lots and lots of little things. For example, I have plants in my bedroom. How many people listening have a plant in their bedroom? You should have a plant in your bedroom. It takes in carbon dioxide. It gives out oxygen. You're the one giving out carbon dioxide, and you need the oxygen. So have a symbiotic relationship in your bedroom. It's pretty simple. Spider plants are the easiest thing if you don't know what to do. So there are many, many different things. Essential oils like eucalyptus and peppermint, and we have ancient Chinese secrets called Taifu, and we have products. So all you got to contact us, reach out to Dr. Houston. Ask us. Are there products I could take that would benefit my snoring? Yes. Are there things I can do to improve my snoring? Yes. Do all these before you go spend $6,000 and attach yourself to an oxygen tank the rest of your life. Okay. That's what I'll add to that, because I've helped many, many people not go that route.
Right.
So all these things, chiropractic adjustments, changing your diet, changing your pillow,
Okay.
Simple stuff and cost effective. Do all these first. Part of what we want to share with you on these shows is not just to get you to do scans and our way or the highway. That's not what this is about. What this is about is helping each individual that's reaching out to us through Kingdom Ministries for help, for optimum health. That's why we're here. Dr. Houston and I have lots of things to do. We give up our time. We're humanitarians first. We work for God first. Okay. And we're here and we give up our time for you. So if you're listening, please reach out to us. That's why we're here. That's why we're giving you discounts. We're not doing it for glory. We're doing it to help each and every individual. And if your life is improved with less snoring, so is your marriage.
Right.
I know, right? Okay, there's a question on the screen for you guys.
It's a good question. So how can a person be allergic to wheat and all of a sudden they get the scan, they get the nutrients, the vitamins, and minerals they need, and now they're not allergic to the same, I guess, like a better pesticide in a way. How is that possible? Well, simple. You start putting in things that God has made, right? Something as simple as herbs or nutrients in their whole form, your body knows exactly what to do with that. One thing that you'll find with me, I don't dish out vitamins and minerals. I barely use them unless they're highly indicated by the scan. Like somebody has a severe B deficiency, then I'll be doing that. For the most part, I never dish out vitamins and minerals. Why? Because they're already in the herbs. And if you're eating herbs, you're getting whole food. And if you're getting whole food, you're getting whole nutrition. You're not getting processed nutrition. You're not getting refined, boxed, canned, styrofoam, plastic, microwave food. So anytime you start changing the diet, you change everything, including your immune response. 70% of your immune system is in your gut. Change your gut, you change 70% of the immune system. I preached that all through the last 5 years of a nightmare to people, is you got to work on the gut. Hippocrates said 3,000 years ago, all disease begins in the gut. That's right. So to answer that question, change your gut, you change your life. You need to understand something called the microbiome. And maybe what we need to do is dedicate an hour or two just to understanding the microbiome, because it's a big complex thing. But once you understand it, you start understanding how you can affect so much of yourself. Every single system in your body is affected by the gut, including immunity. That's how I would answer that. What would you add?
Well, exactly. I mean, hormonal problems, those are also many times initiated in the gut. Anxiety, things of that nature, again, the gut. So getting things cleaned up, and like you're saying, there's some baseline things that we can do, that you can do at home to get yourself going and really take on the responsibility of getting to understand the microbiome and how your body functions from that perspective. So I think that'd be a great idea if we just dedicate a whole show to nothing but the microbiome,
Yeah.
and how it does affect every different cell, tissue.
It affects every single disease you can name.
Right.
And so, gut health is really what we're all about. And that's why we love the scans, because they get very, very deep. They'll even get down to specific types of bacteria. Like when I work with people with cardiometabolic syndrome, what is that? It means you've got high blood pressure, you've got triglycerides, bad cholesterol, you're pre-diabetic, you have belly fat, you're not doing well. That's cardiometabolic syndrome. You're headed for a nightmare. Yet when we study fecal matter from these people, they're full of a species called Firmicutes. And Firmicutes is nothing more than a sugar lover. Okay, it's the only species of bacteria in your body that loves sugar. Everybody else loves plants. So when suddenly you have more sugar lovers than plant lovers, gee, I wonder what you're going to eat. They're controlling you. You're not controlling them. So the point is that population has to change in order for your cravings to go away. So a lot of times when we do herbal programs, and they don't happen overnight, we put people on 90-day programs. But when that happens, they'll say things to me like, well, it's interesting, I no longer crave soda. Why? Well, because you changed your gut.
Right.
I no longer, crave, Snicker bars. Why? Well, it's because you changed your gut. And, it's so foreign for people to understand that concept. Because, we start babies out on sugar. We put it in their baby foods, and we add the wrong kind of fats. We train them to love sugar and salt. When any newborn, you give them sugar or salt, they'll make a face at you. But you train them. And then once they're trained, those bacteria in the body become trained to what you trained them to. I have a nephew that was raised on nothing but vegetarian diet, never been vaccinated. I've never known him to be sick. He's 30 years old. He's never been sick a day in his life. It's a miracle. And what is it? It's because he was raised differently than the rest of us. There's got to be some truth to that. We don't need a scientific study.
Right.
God told us, your food shall be your medicine.
That's right.
That food is medicine. We have to learn what is medicine. It's pretty simple, okay? And so we've gotten away from that. And that's why, we talk a lot about herbs on this show. It's because they are nature's medicine. Great question, by the way. There's another one. After my scan, I didn't crave sugar anymore, and then I decided to remove dairy from my diet, and it changed almost everything. Thank you for
All
that.
right, Rosie, way to go.
Hey, so there is proof positive anecdotal evidence that somebody did a scan. Bless her. You know, I don't want to mention too many names, right? We know. But changed what the advice was from the scan, changed her diet. And it didn't cost her anything to change it other than I missed certain things, but left, and her whole world changed. So what went in here changed everything. And that's our point.
You know what I find really fascinating as well is that it's not just changing the diet, but it's also the scan shows you where you are prior to the scan. And then after doing the scan and hearing some tones, what happens just from elevating your frequency through those notes.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
That is something that's so amazing and brilliant.
Well, especially when you get good advice, right? The scan is saying, hey, you know, maybe something to the effect like don't eat Jello or don't eat dairy or whatever. And then we make that suggestion. You remove that, which is voluntary. And then you notice the beautiful changes in your body.
Right.
And you realize, well, wait, I was told ever since I was a kid that if I want my calcium, I got to eat my cheese. You know, who told you that?
Right.
I never saw an adult cow drink milk or eat cheese.
I still have people that they swear by drinking milk for their calcium.
That's a lie.
It is. I know.
You know, you swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. And, you know, the American Dairy Association is very good at, you know,
marketing
a picture of untruth, as many organizations. They're trying to protect their profits. I'm not anti-dairy. I was born in Wisconsin. Right. But what I will say is, you know, raw milk is completely different than pasteurized. It's night and day. Live versus dead. End of story. We talked about that a lot on this show. You want a live body, eat live food. You want a dead body, eat dead food. Your choice.
Right.
It's not rocket science.
You know, for me, after I had my scanning and I started taking the vitamins and stuff, my bowel movement had been totally solid. No matter, and I have to say it like this, no matter what I eat, you know, before I was taking my vitamins and everything, it would come out sometimes soft, you know, but now it's all solid now. And I'm like, okay, what's going on with my body? But I know what is going on with it, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm noticing that it's just there, you know, it's just always solid now. It's nothing mushy or nothing.
It sounds like you've made the changes that the scan introduced to you.
Yes. And listening to my frequency. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm being a good student. I ain't gonna say patient. I'm a good student.
Yeah, the benefits are, you know, they're slow, but they come, and it's just a matter of time. You know, I always tell people, you know, I can dazzle you with big words and I can talk over your head all day long, but at the end of the day, it means nothing. What matters is how you feel. What matters is, do you see the changes that are occurring that you want to have happen to you? That's the big thing. Right. You know, I'm going to give everybody some exercise today.
Okay.
I want you to add 3 things, okay, in your life. One is, and let me back up because I think it's important, you know, that we always give the listeners something to work on. But, you know, when they did a study a while ago called Stress in America, they did this in 2023. It was a landmark study right during the COVID nightmare, right? What a time to take a stress test. But anyway, 61% of all people that were under stress don't want to admit it because they don't want to bother other people with their problems. 62% who have stress won't even talk about it. So that's a very high number. So as practitioners, Dr. Houston and I will, I'm sure she'd attest to this. It's amazing the level of stress that people are under, but they don't want to admit it or talk about it or deal with it in an appropriate manner. So I'm going to give you 3 things that can help reduce stress that are very, very simple. Number 1, take a 10-minute walk every day in nature. I don't care how you do it. I don't care where you go. You just need to do it. I know it's 10 degrees outside, but when it's nice, you need to get out there, get into nature. If you're inside, just get on a treadmill, turn on maybe a video of nature. You need to connect to Mother Earth for at least 10 minutes a day instead of a blue screen. Okay. It is the most scientifically approved tool for increasing health of anything I've ever studied. Just taking a 10-minute walk is number 1. So if you could do that, it'd be great. Second, a little strength training. When we say working out, I'm not talking about running a marathon. I'm talking about using very light weights, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds, right? Whatever your back will allow you or your body will allow you. But just work with some weight-bearing things. It increases your bone density by 20% if you do that. So something as simple as just a couple of minutes a day. So why don't you do both? Get some 5-pound spats, put them on your ankles, put them on your wrist, and go for a 10-minute walk. That's it. And you're already reducing all kinds of potential problems. And last is to add something called an adaptogen. To get a good adaptogen, contact us. We can give you advice, one-on-one or whatever. But the bottom line, all we would ask is you let us help you secure the source. We want to make sure that you get high quality herbs. You don't buy stuff that's been contaminated or is not what's in the bottle. That happens a lot in this industry. So as practitioners, Dr. Houston and I are very, very careful of what we recommend as supplements, but reach out to us and get something like rhodiola, ashwagandha. Don't just run out and buy the stuff off the internet. You don't know what you're doing. Okay. You need to talk to professionals when it comes to getting good herbs. Call us. They're inexpensive if you get the right ones. I love a product we have called Brain Edge. It's got rhodiola in it. Rhodiola is an adaptogen. It means road to old. Okay, if you want a great brain, you want focus, you want longevity, you want attention, use rhodiola. Also, yerba mate, ginkgo biloba. These are adaptogens that help you with your balance, your gait, your tenacity, your strength, your endurance, your longevity. So these 3 simple things: take a walk, add a few weights, and throw in what's called an adaptogen. And you're reducing your stress levels probably about 80% of what's happening to the body just with those 3 things, according to all of the recent studies. It's pretty simple, but it's a matter of making it a daily habit. So I'd like to introduce that to the listeners. It's pretty simple.
Not only that, it reduces your chance of osteoporosis. It strengthens the bones. Yeah. That's the best way, really, is through exercise and through adaptogens and minerals to strengthen those bones. And strength training is really, really integral for that as well. And
I'm sure you have a whole plan for that, CHARISSE.
Absolutely. And you don't have to spend hours in the gym. It doesn't.
I would say if we need structural support, right? Osteopathic, chiropractic, nervous system. There's so many things that Dr. Houston can help you with. You got to reach out to us, folks.
Absolutely.
We're on the show for a reason. Okay, reach out. That's why we're here. Thank you for that.
So, anybody else got any more questions? Because this is good, and you have to. I try to tell people what you don't know will hurt you.
Right, that's true.
That's good.
And so you got to learn, you got to know, you got to be willing to understand. And when we was talking about the microwave, I was with one of my friends on yesterday. He lives up in Burlington on a farm, and he had this thing. He said, "Let me show you the microwave," and he showed me the radiation. He got this radiation thing, right? Put a glass of water in the mic and turned it on, and that radiation just went to zzz. And we sitting there laughing at it. We was like, "Oh my God!" And he was like, "Oh yeah." I mean, he's into whole. Listen, I got to introduce y'all to him. Y'all gonna love him. But he was showing that he has these things that I guess are called connectors that he put around his whole farm. He sticks it in the ground, and it does the connecting thing. And then we told him about the egg we got, and he was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to get me one of those too." Because knowing him, he's gonna buy a couple of them because he has almost 400 acres of farmland.
Do you want to tell us all a little more about the egg? I'm sure, I mean, we talked about it a little bit pre-show, but why would that be a good thing to have?
Yeah, it modulates 5G technology. It doesn't block it. You can't block, that type of radio wave. However, when it comes at you, it's a very, very jagged line. And so anything jagged is usually man-made, doesn't occur naturally in nature. Therefore, it disrupts our DNA. It just literally blows it apart. And that's not good. You disrupt your DNA, you start making bad copies. You make bad copies, you get the big C. Okay, that's a fact. That being said, you can modulate that, which means those waves can be restructured so they become more fluent and congruent with the way Mother Earth would recognize energy. And therefore, what is harming you that you don't know about suddenly is not harming you. So it's creating a very positive environment. That's what the so-called egg is doing. It's built with certain trace elements that can naturally help these wavelengths mellow out so they're not so jagged. And that way they don't tear apart our DNA. And that's something so simple that you could put on every cell tower. You think they're going to do it? No, they don't care about you. They don't care about your health. They care about money. So anyway, eggs can be, created in any way, shape, or form. It's just, we call it egg because it looks like one. And that's just, the oval shape and how it's working with the internal elements. But these things, you can program them up to 1,000 acres. So the point is, you could put one on a cell tower and it wouldn't even be hurting us at all. Why aren't we doing this? Because the FCC is not going to admit this. They're just not gonna, because the liability is massive. Once you admit that it causes cancer, they're going to get sued into next Wednesday. It's just not going to stop. So the point is, they won't. It's the same with vaccines. They're not going to come out and say, hey, they're safely studied when we know they haven't been. There's not one vaccine that's been safely studied. Not one.
Right.
And that's been proven. Okay? That you've been lied to.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? I don't want to stick something in my grandchild or child that hasn't been safety tested.
Right.
Yet they're telling me it's mandatory.
Well, it's like from the moment of life, from the moment of birth, they want to put antibiotics in your eyes and
born hepatitis B. They're not going to go have sex. I don't understand. It's not going to eat bad food. They're a newborn.
Right.
Stupid.
They're not drug users either. So
right. Sorry, calm down. Everything's okay.
Well, it is really, if you think about it, I've always questioned how a known carcinogen, if you start looking at like the inserts, or you start investigating what's in these shots, formaldehyde, polysorbate 80, aluminum, all of this stuff, and to think who in good conscience. I had one of my previous office managers, and I was talking the other day, and she said, who would in good conscience do something like that? I said, well, it's good job security, because how could you expect the body temple to make healing tissue when you keep injecting it with all of that toxicity, known carcinogens, aborted fetal tissue, things of that nature, and we're sold down the river.
Why aren't they reading inserts? Even if you went to get a free flu shot, oh, that sounds enticing. It's free. Did you read the insert? Because if you did, you wouldn't let them stick that in your arm.
That's right. Right. Child.
Now, when it says complications include death,
right?
If you ever read the insert, you wouldn't do it. I have a lot of good pharmacist buddies, and they always tell me the same thing. Any drug that lists a side effect of death, you probably should not take.
I know, right?
And yet people do every day.
Yes.
So, there has to be some common sense when it comes to medicine.
Well, that's kind of why we're doing the show also, is to challenge people's thinking.
Yeah, but we don't want to replace anything. We're not here to, take on the medical establishment and say medicine is bad. Doctors, no. Doctors and nurses are great people, highly educated people. The problem is the education they received is questionable and biased.
It is biased because it's set up by the pharmaceutical companies.
Unfortunately, they're not teaching them nutrition. They're not teaching them faith. They're not teaching them anything that we're talking about.
They just teach protocols. Right. If A, then B.
Should faith be part of the medical system?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Because if the spirit man is sick, then the body is automatically going to be sick. And so the Bible says, so as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you telling me that I got high blood pressure or I got diabetes, I'm going to think that for a while. But if you tell me, okay, your diabetes came based on what goes in your mouth. All right. Now my mind is going to change and start to think about what I'm going to put in my mouth. Right. So the sickness only has stayed with me because of this. The Bible says it's not what goes in the man that defiles a man, but what comes out of the man, what comes out of his mouth.
Wow.
So if I come in agreement with, you can say it all day long, I got diabetes. But if I come out of my mouth in agreement that it's my diabetes, then guess what? It is now my diabetes.
You become the diagnosis.
Yes. I got to get you your t-shirt too.
Yeah, where's my t-shirt?
That's why the t-shirt says, I am not what they diagnose, but I live by my words. Because everything starts from the heart of man.
Right.
And so if I accept, right? I knew this lady who God told her to start back pastoring the church. Her doctor said, you're going to die in 6 weeks. She came in agreement with the doctor and died 6 weeks on the head.
That's sad.
Okay? So from the spirit side, she had accepted death instead of accepting what God said to do the assignment that was on your life.
Wow. And
so from a spiritual standpoint, I got to know who I am with God. I got to make sure my relationship with God is correct. I got to make sure I'm forgiving, because if I'm forgiving people, then my body is not going to attack me because of the unforgiveness.
Right. And you brought up diabetes, which is very interesting, because there are books and volumes of books written that kind of give us insight into what's going on in somebody's heart or in their mind. And that's where the battlefield is many times, is in our minds, right? Yes. So, but diabetes has been one of those sicknesses that is a disease of feeling like life has lost its sweetness. It's kind of a bitter pill. And so, how do you undo that? And again, the scanner can address those things too. There are flower remedies, and there are things that are, it just kind of blows my mind to see how we can really support and change those basic concepts, but we have to be made aware of them so we can work with them and shift that, because life is wonderful. Life is beautiful. Yeah, there's good and bad and challenges everywhere, but whatever you focus on is going to expand and become more of your reality. Now we can get really deep into the quantum of the quantum, but we want to have high vibration things. We want to eat high vibration foods that can be and are blessed by the sun and regenerated, and can be regenerated. Like Dr. J, you always talk about, you should have seeds in your watermelons, and, we need seed, right? So, and the seed of the spirit comes from the word.
And this is the food we got to eat first.
Soul food.
Yes. And I tell you, ever since Dr. J messed me up on eating catfish, uh, I haven't eaten it since, you know. But the thing about it is he didn't just say don't eat catfish, he came biblical. And when he came biblical, I'm like, oh, okay. I want to stay in alignment with God. So guess what? I gotta do it God's way.
Yeah, I think there's very, very good advice in the Bible on how to be optimum health. There's a lot of good advice. Jesus was a master healer, in my opinion. You know, he basically invented the whole idea of fasting in the first place, you know, which is a powerful healing tool. It puts our body into autophagy, which means it has energy to clean up the mess that you've made while you're not eating. You know, and to purify the body, to purify the soul. That's what Christ was teaching us. You know, that they are synonymous, and we need to accept that. You know, David, you and I have talked about, you know, don't disgrace the temple.
Yes.
Right? Your body is a temple. God gave that to you and wants you to honor that flesh. And yet, if you're mistreating the flesh, that's the same as mistreating a holy temple, in my opinion. So maybe you're
Right.
thinking, or, you know, you continue those bad habits. You're disgracing the temple. You know, and sometimes that gives you the, you know, up here. Right?
Right.
Got responsibility and accountability.
Right.
And that's what's missing from medicine is we don't put the accountability and responsibility back on the patient. I have had MDs say to my face, the problem with you naturopaths is you put all the responsibility back on the patient. And I said, where do you think it goes? On you? Fortunately, they are taught, yes.
Well, and their success rate.
Doctor assumes the role of God in healing. And that's unbiblical.
Right.
Yes.
So medicine needs to change from the fact that faith should be first and foremost above fear. And there's too much fear in the medical system. Fear can be used to control you. Fear can be used to make you make decisions that you probably normally wouldn't make when you're of sound mind. So your faith has to be first and foremost, right? The faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain.
Yes.
Do you have that much faith in yourself? So that's always what we're looking for, I think, as practitioners too. And Dr. Houston, you'll probably echo in on this. I'm always asking people up front when they call me and say, "Hi, Dr. J, you know, I heard about you and I'd love to get a consult with you." And I'll be like, "What can I help you with?" "Oh, I got cancer and I don't know, the doctors gave up on me and I don't know what else to do. Do you have any ideas?" Well, my first question is, what are you willing to do about it? Because I need them to understand this isn't about me.
Right.
You got yourself into this. You got to get yourself out. It's not my responsibility to fix you. And if you think about it, a lot of times we do that. We put all the responsibility on the medicine. We put the responsibility on that doctor or on that surgery. And if it fails, we blame them. And that's not right. So taking that personal responsibility is what physicians should be teaching their patients. You teach them. You don't control them. You're not responsible for their healing or their sickness.
That's true.
From medicine is God and the understanding of who we really are and how we must take responsibility. Jesus took responsibility for every one of his actions. He did not blame anyone, ever.
Right.
Ever.
And Jesus put it back on the individual when he was healing them, right? The man at the pool, he said, "Will thou be made whole?" He was like, "I ain't got nobody put me in the water." He ain't asked him nothing about the water. He just said, "Do you want to be made whole?" Right? The ones that was blind, what did he tell them? "According to your faith, let it be done." Mm-hmm. So you got, even with Jesus, you had to do something. You had to believe.
Right.
We must obey God rather than men.
Yes.
Right? Acts 5:29.
The woman who touched his garment, he didn't even know she didn't touch him. She touched his garment.
Yes.
And
you're right. It's all about us having the faith to believe that even when we go to God, we got to believe that he's able.
right.
But he still put it back on us. Do you believe? You know, when you guys do the AO scans and you're telling people what's on the AO scans, then then the question is, do you believe you can follow these instructions to make yourself better? We can't make you better. We can give you the instructions. So, do you believe that you can discipline yourself to walk it out?
Exactly.
That's good.
It's really good stuff right there.
100%. 100%.
That just that humbles all of us.
Yes.
You know, we're all working for each other. You know, I didn't go to Hawaii because I'm rich. I went to Hawaii for a honeymoon, and I saved up 30 years for it. So, you know, I want to put that out there. But, you know, that was important to me. You know, that was something, a goal of mine. Health has always been my goal. You know, I should be dead 9 times now, and I'm still here. You know, they told me I'd be dead 20 years ago. Within 5 years, I'm still here. They told me I'd be dead a couple of years ago from Lyme. I'm still here. The point is when you have faith in what you're doing, and I have faith in nature's medicines, and the holistic, you know, types of things, and chiropractic care, and all the wonderful things that I do every day. I do everything that I preach. So does Dr. Houston. We find that our lives are better. Our energy is better. You know, people were saying to me in Hawaii, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 63." And they're like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Yeah, I am. And I can climb mountains and ride a bike, and I don't have backaches, and I'm doing great." You know, I mean, why? Because I work at it every day. I don't take it for granted. I don't blame someone else when my health goes wrong. I take action to correct it. God gave us free will. You must exercise it. You are responsible for you. No one else.
100%.
We're just here to help you. I'm telling you, we'll drop what we're doing to help you. Reach out.
You just have to be ready. You have to just take that first step.
Yeah, we're going to get a couple people on this show that have had the scans recently and share some nice testimonies coming forward too. And I think
yes,
here, right? Understand, we're here to help you.
Right.
Yes. All right. It's about that time. So, you know, ladies always go first. Give us what you feel that we need, ma'am.
Well, everybody, we just celebrated the holiday of love, which to me is every day. I wore my hearts today because it's Valentine's Day every day in my world. I really want to send out as much love into the universe, to my neighbors, people that have offended me. I send them love. And it's what makes the world go round. It's the highest frequency. And we're here to share as much as you'll allow us to share. And we're going to wrap it all in love, which doesn't mean that we're pushovers. It does mean we will hold you accountable if you're going to work with us. But it is because we have such great love to serve humanity that we're doing these shows and we're doing the scans, because this science is way ahead of the curve. And here to help you at any stage where you're at. We're judgment free. It's a worry free zone. We meet you where you're at, and we'll take you. You let us know what your goals are, and we'll help you to get there. But you have to make the first step, and that is to call Dr. David. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just echo that myself. You know, any mom knows that when a child gets sick, probably the rest of the family is going to follow, right? Moms are very good at being what I call Dr. Mom. And hopefully mom doesn't get sick, right? Because mom goes down, they all go down. So, you know, you don't need to travel far to serve the sick and the poor, because here we are. We're talking to you right now in your home, on your phone, in your car, whatever you're listening to. We have the ability to help you from your home. I don't know how many doctors make house calls, but you're talking to 2 of them. and how excellent that is that you don't have to go somewhere, drive, sit in an office for 2 hours to talk to us when you can get on at an appointed time of your convenience, within reason. We're willing to work with you directly. The best doctors are always the people that are taking the time to educate themselves on their own health. I'm sorry, but the best doctor is you.
Right.
Because you know your body better than anybody. You know how you feel. You know when you're sick. You know when you're not. You know when you're happy. You know when you're not. You know when you feel good and when you don't. Don't let anybody else tell you that. Make sure you're working with a practitioner who's listening to you and addressing your concerns, because you know what's wrong. And like Dr. David just said, you don't need a t-shirt advertising your diagnosis. You need to take responsibility and accountability for your health, and we will help you get there. We're just the compass. We're just the conduit. We work for you. So please reach out, contact us. We'd appreciate it. Thank you.
So all you have to do is call the number on the screen, and I will set you up with one of these doctors. Like they say, they're not doing it to get rich. They're doing it because they care. Now, they could do it to get rich, but they do it because they care. And they give their time. Every Monday, we do these shows so that you can have the right information to take care of your own body. I'm telling you, my wife and I, we practice what we preach. I don't just do these shows and I done had my AO scan. My wife had her AO scan. Our daughter had an AO scan. They talked about the egg. We went and got the egg. So my neighbors is gonna thank me because we got that egg in our yard. They ain't gonna even know what's going on. They just gonna be like, something is not the same, because we put the egg in our yard and it has been a blessing to us. And so we learn, we do better. When you know better, you do better. And I'm not planning on leaving the earth until all my work is done. I'm dying empty. I'm pouring out everything. So, but I got to stay healthy to do it. I can't pour it out empty if I'm in the hospital with tubes in my mouth. So I need to be healthy. You guys need to be healthy. To me, age ain't nothing but a number according to the Bible, because Caleb was 80 years old when he went to go get his mountain. So it's up to you guys on how you want to do it. Call the number on the screen and we will be here for you. And let me just put my disclaimer in. I am not a holistic doctor. I am not a chiropractor. I am a doctor in theology. I'm the spiritual doctor. So my job is to deal with you spiritually. Their job to do the rest. So I don't want nobody trying to say, oh, he's trying to play doctor. No, I'm only a doctor in the spirit realm. I cast out that demon and then you can build your body back up.
Right on.
Awesome.
Right?
All right.
So we thank y'all for tuning in for another show. Give me a call. I'll set you up with your appointment. I give you the number that you need to call to get your appointment, and I guarantee you'll be blessed by it. So until next Monday, we want to say God bless.
Thank you.